left him at home.
Okay.
Oh, good.
The caucus meeting of August 1st, 2023 will now come to order at 7:46 p.m. Present are all members of council, the mayor, assistant law director, finance director, safety director, service director, recreation director, and many, many guests. If there are no additions or corrections, the caucus meeting minutes of June 20th, 2023 are approved as written. Suspension, there's one item on the agenda this evening being requested for suspension, and it is ordinance 2023-87. Mayor Jones, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have Tim Pinchak, our Recreation and Community Engagement Director, here to speak to council about the details of this ordinance. It is an ordinance to permit alcoholic beverages to be sold and consumed at the Gaelic Games at Barton Bradley Park. And this is an international event that our city has hosted before. We're excited to have them come back and be in North Olmsted. And Mr. Pinchak.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council President and the rest of the council. So as the mayor mentioned, this is the Gaelic Games. The last time they were held here in the city of North Olmsted was 2013. It is a rental that we do provide for Barton Bradley Park. They do provide their own state of Ohio liquor permit once they applied, so they have received that, and they are requesting that they have access to the park to perform their games and sell their alcohol. They will work with our North Olmsted Police Department to provide security for the event. It is this coming weekend. The reason why this is in such delay is because they were waiting for their liquor permit, and we didn't want to present this to council prior to them getting that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Director. Are there any objections from council to suspension on ordinance 2023-87?
Mr. President?
Councilman Heeman?
Thank you. No, not an objection, just a statement that, we have for years, given the VFW permission for, the homecoming event for their beer, tent, and alcohol, and we now also we are currently having that as fundraising at the park, our Concerts in the Park series. So I think this is just, getting to be something that's accepted in our community and appreciated, and certainly it's been no incidents in any of the events so far. So I think as the chairperson of the Public Building, Parks, and Recreation Committee, I would be pleased to have it. Thank you.
All right, seeing no other objections to council, we will move into assigning legislation. Ordinance 2023-88 will be assigned to Building, Zoning, and Development. Ordinance 2023-87 will be assigned to Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings. And Resolution 2023-86 will be assigned to Finance. Additionally, I'll be scheduling a public hearing for the purpose of discussing Ordinance 2023-88 on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 at 7:40 p.m. So moving into scheduling committee meetings for next Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. Councilwoman Williamson, would you like to schedule for Public Safety, Health, and Welfare?
Yes, I would like to schedule that meeting at 7. Do you guys want to do a little earlier? Does everyone go to 6:45? If we
6:45, good with the rest of that committee?
I'm not on the committee, so.
No,
I
it's,
may not be there, yeah.
I only need 5 minutes.
Okay. I like the
6:45?
idea because we're going to have a committee of the whole as well.
Okay, great. 6:45 then.
Okay. So
I need 5 minutes, that's it.
6:45 to 6:50.
Yes.
All right, great. Councilman Limpert for Building, Zoning, and Development.
Yeah, this is going to require a public hearing, so I'm going to schedule this on 9/12, September 12th, at a time to be determined.
Got it. Thank you. Councilman Glassburn for Finance.
I guess 6:50.
How long do you think you'll need?
We'll say 5 minutes.
How
Okay.
many?
5.
Councilman, could we do this the following week then? Since I have a 5-minute meeting and,
I'm getting,
got it, okay, forget it.
I'm good with that.
We haven't interviewed
Oh,
for
yeah.
intergov
I
that
didn't-
We
day.
have a whole committee of the whole.
Forget it,
And
sorry.
a committee of the whole schedule.
okay,
Just leave it as is.
6:50 it is.
All right, 6:50 to 6:55.
On the, sorry, we have our council meeting on the 8th?
Correct.
Okay. It's committee meeting, but, okay.
Councilwoman Gilchrist?
Wait, hold on, no, Mr. President, what, we have a committee of the whole meeting, is this a,
On the 8th.
yeah, what, I mean, is this gonna be a extended topic?
It's going to be, council members, the committee of the whole that we're looking to schedule for next week on the 8th is to discuss audiovisual.
Okay. Got it. Okay,
Everybody good?
we're fine.
Okay. Moving on to Councilwoman Gilchrist for Intergovernmental Relations Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to schedule that meeting for 6:55. And probably need like a half an hour, 20 minutes? 10 minutes? Okay. 10 minutes it is.
10 minutes it is. Thank you. So with that said, I'll schedule a committee of the whole meeting on next Tuesday, the 8th, at 7:05 PM to discuss 2023-78. Mayor Jones has a lot of good things happening this evening, police swearing-ins, recognitions and promotions, and we also have the Hosto Champions here tonight as well. So very exciting evening for all of us here. Does anyone on council have anything else they wish to bring up this evening? Anything from the administration?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor. Seeing nothing else, the caucus meeting of August 1st, 2023 is adjourned at 7:54 PM.
And you all have attended the meeting before the meeting.
Now they're all gonna wonder, what's the entertainment for the next 5 minutes? Somebody's gonna tell jokes.
Well, James showed me the way, so. He's always on. He's
The council meeting of August 1st, 2023 will now please come to order at 8 o'clock p.m. The audience is invited to join council in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Broussard,
Present.
Ms. Gilchrist,
Here.
Mr. Glassborn,
Here.
Ms. Heeman,
Here.
Mr. Limpert,
Present.
Mr. Madden,
Here.
Mr. Scarl,
Present.
Ms. Williamson.
Here.
If there are no additions or corrections, the council meeting minutes of June 20th, 2023, and the special council meeting minutes of June 27th, 2023 are approved as written. The following legislation is considered for suspension of the rules this evening on first reading, ordinance 2023-87. Moving into reports, Mayor Daley Jones, do you have a report this evening?
I do, Mr. President, but first, if council could please ask our championship hot stove baseball team come to the front with their coach. Stand in a straight line. Do a lot of hard work. I have a proclamation for this amazing team. Whereas the North Olmsted Hot Stove Baseball Class H 10U team won its first ever state championship in mid-July. And whereas the team includes players Jamison, Daniel, Parker, Logan, Salah, Andrew, Blake, Cameron Kay, Chase Lazar, Tyler Poole, Harper Radzminski, Caleb Sutton, and Cameron Wernerly. And whereas Chase Lazar was designated as the championship team most valuable player, and whereas the North Olmsted Hot Stove Baseball League has been the organization providing our area children between the ages of 5 and 18 with organized baseball. The league strives to develop, evaluate, and disseminate programs that educate our players in the fundamentals and rules of baseball and deepen children's commitment to promote values such as honesty, sportsmanship, fair play, and respect for others. And whereas the winning team was coached by Alan Poole. Now therefore be it resolved that I, North Olmsted Mayor Nicole Daley Jones, do hereby congratulate Coach Poole and all team members on their state championship win. Be it further resolved that all members of our North Olmsted City Council and all residents of our North Olmsted community join me in extending these good wishes to Coach Poole and the entire team. Congratulations.
guys want to start down and make a line and come around?
We'll do like this.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
was
do
just
like-
gonna say.
You can go this way. No, you're just gonna have to wave.
Go ahead.
Did not want that to fall down.
Round third, head home.
Oh, no.
High arms, guys. Reach high. Reach high.
Oh my gosh, look at those medals. Congrats, guys.
And all that hardware. Congratulations. My kids never got to see that.
And now, Chief Wagner, if you could please come forward. We have some promotions we would like to extend. Oh, one. Let's do, yes. Please raise your right hand.
I, Nicholas Proposal,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
to support the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio,
of the state of Ohio,
the charter and ordinances
charter and ordinances
of the city of North Homestead,
of the city of North Homestead,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of
discharge the duties of
police sergeant
police sergeant
for the city of North Homestead Police Department
in the city of North Homestead Police Department
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
on this date
on this date
of August 1st, 2023.
of August 1st, 2023.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Did she practice?
One time.
Jim Larkin, Jim Schill, and Derek Martin, please.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jack Martin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio,
of the state of Ohio,
the charter and ordinances
the charter and ordinances
of the city of North Homestead,
of the city of North Homestead,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of
discharge the duties of
police officer
police officer
for the City of North Olmsted Police Department,
for the City of North Olmsted Police Department,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
on this date
on this date
of August 1st, 2023.
of August 1st, 2023.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
One more. It's not as easy as it looks.
And I have no preference. Just go off.
They were in their bulletproof vests.
And Mr. John Bernston, if you could please come forward. Thank you. I have a proclamation. Whereas John Bernston, a lifelong resident of North Olmsted, and whereas Mr. Bernston, who is employed with Chagrin Valley Dispatch in the IT department, and whereas Mr. Bernston is being recognized today for his role in the March 21st, 2022 robbery officer-involved shooting at Starbucks, located at 27178 Lorraine Road, North Olmsted, Ohio. And whereas Mr. Bernston entered the Starbucks at the time of the robbery, Mr. Bernston observed the suspect with a firearm and realized that a critical incident was underway. Mr. Bernston exited the Starbucks and proceeded to call the North Olmsted Police Department, prompting a quick police response. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, North Olmsted Mayor Nicole Daly Jones, on behalf of City Council and all residents of North Olmsted, do hereby recognize John Bernston for his actions on Monday, March 21st, 2022, and thank him for his swift action alerting the North Olmsted Police of a robbery in progress. Thank you, John.
everybody for coming. Anybody that knows me knows that I normally shoot from the hip when I talk. I don't normally prepare things to say. But I did want to let people know, and I want to read some things just kind of quick. We had initially planned on doing 4 swearing-ins for new officers today, and as you saw, there was only 3. I'm going to read you a resignation letter that I just received on Saturday morning. It says, "Please accept my letter of resignation from the position of patrol officer from the North Homestead Police Department, effective immediately. It is with great disappointment to be resigning from the North Homestead Police Department. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work at such an amazing department with some great people as well. I greatly appreciate the knowledge I have gained from working for the North Homestead Police Department, but unfortunately, it is just not for me. The knowledge and experience I've gained while working here will be with me for the rest of my life, and I am overall very appreciative of this. I sincerely hope that you understand my position and know that I did truly believe I was meant for this job. I've left everything issued by the North Homestead Police Department, a few extra uniforms inside my locker. I wish the safety and success to all the members of the North Homestead Police Department." I read that for a reason. This job isn't for everybody. This gentleman, 25 years old, went to the police academy, graduated from the police academy, got hired at North Homestead Police Department, and I think he spent 4 or 5 weeks here beginning training before he realized he can't do the job. When we do an interview process, it's tough because some people just can't make it. There's a bunch of people in the back room here, people we swore in, people here off this side that can do the job, and my hat goes off to the men and women of the North Homestead Police Department, dispatchers. It's not an easy job. This kid, for 2 years, thought he was going to do the job and just couldn't do it. We're recognizing some very special police officers tonight. Chris, Manny, Jack, if you guys would come up here. I just wanted to share that with you because in my eyes, we get a lot of communication in the police department. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, but I try to take the good out of all of it. And the good I see is that this gentleman recognized that the job wasn't for him after a short term. They don't always teach everything you need to know in the police academy. Matter of fact, it's the basics. He realized that the job wasn't for him at the young age of 25, and he did it before he got himself hurt or one of our other officers. We're a citizen. So even though we lost a valuable member of the police department, probably going to be better for everybody in the end, including him. So I wish him well. Leave his name out of it, but you know, it's sad, but in a sense that I just want everybody to realize that, you know, I couldn't support the men and women of the police department more than I do. We have a lot of great people here that come to work day in and day out, and sometimes it can be a struggle. So, but I do want to recognize these 3. So, coupling on the Starbucks robbery, this was an officer-involved shooting that happened. I will read you. Each one of these gentlemen are going to receive the Medal of Valor from the police department. It's for actions taken on March 21st, 2022 as it pertains to the aggravated robbery and officer-involved shooting at Starbucks. Officer Butcher, Kelly, and Roman exhibited exceptional courage, extraordinary decisiveness, and presence of mind, along with unusual swiftness of action, regardless of his personal safety, to protect human life until fellow officers arrived. You know, this isn't the first officer-involved shooting that, you know, one of these gentlemen have been in. It's a tough job. These guys acted heroically. It was a very unfortunate situation. The suspect in this case was shot by our officers multiple times. He lived. And I do want to say that I think it was, if my memory serves me correctly, it was the 8th time this gentleman had been shot, the 2nd time by police. I think he's doing 20 years now, 20 years. I won't give him the gratification of announcing his name, but my hat goes off to these gentlemen and the award they're receiving tonight, and I'd love to give them a standing round of applause. So, council, thank you for your time. Greatly appreciate your support. The mayor, administration, safety director, I can't say enough good things about. She has undying support for us. And I greatly appreciate your time. Friends and family from the swearing in, promotion, and the Medals of Valor recipients, everybody's invited over to the police department for cake and a station tour. And thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you. Take another one. Sorry to take up so much time.
Congratulations. Congratulations, and thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Glad you're safe.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
The butcher.
Nicknames like
He wants me to speeding ticket to sing song. And they wrote a ditty about it on a bulletin board.
That's awesome.
The real singer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you want me to just start giving the report? Okay. That would speak. Sorry. Members of council, welcome back from your short summer recess. The last 2 weeks have been very busy in North Olmsted due to the severe storms we've experienced. I want to publicly thank Service Director Kevin Carney and all members of his staff for the exceptional work they've done in assisting our residents. As you know, we had 2 major rainstorm events which resulted in basement flooding for our residents, many downed trees and power lines. Our crews did an amazing job, as they always do, and I wanted to publicly recognize their efforts on behalf of homeowners who were negatively impacted by the storms. Some good news for North Olmsted. We were notified by U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown's office this morning that we are in line to receive $271,000 in funding to start the rehab of Old Town Hall. This follows news that we are receiving federal funding for the Clague Road Force Main project. I will share more details with council as they become available. The city's contractor will be starting demolition of the old Spruce and Forest Elementary schools on or about Monday, August 7th, with the completion targeted for the end of October. There will be several weeks of abatement at each school prior to demolition. Spruce School is scheduled to be demoed first, followed by Forest. Cleveland.com reported this morning that R.E. Warner and Associates won a tax credit worth $550,000 to create 88 new jobs and about $6.4 million in annual payroll. R.E. Warner and Associates will move from its current offices in Westlake to a new office in North Olmsted at the Great Northern Corporate Center on Country Club Boulevard. The company, which offers engineering, architecture, and surveying services, was started in 1951, and it currently employs 110 people. Recently, this council passed incentives, including a 10-year job creation tax credit to bring R.E. Warner to North Olmsted. The first day of school for students in the North Olmsted City School District will be Thursday, August 24th. The district will hold its annual convocation beginning at 8:30 a.m. on Monday, August 21st, and council members are all invited to attend. Convocation takes place at the North Olmsted Performing Arts Center. The city will host Boom, the annual fireworks event, Friday, August 11th at Great Northern Mall. Entertainment and food trucks will be available from 6 p.m. until the fireworks show is completed. And then, at 6 p.m. on Saturday, August 12th, the city will present its final summer concert series performance featuring the Journey tribute band Escape. Food trucks and alcohol for purchase will be available at the event. Our last concert on July 22nd drew approximately 1,000 guests to North Olmsted Community Park. And then earlier on Saturday, August 12th, the West Side Flea will be at the North Olmsted Community Park from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m., which features over 100 different vendors. All during the month of July, the Ox Cart Food Pantry has been collecting donations of school supplies and backpacks for the Pack Your Backpack with Care program. School supplies will be distributed from 9 a.m. to noon on Thursday, August 10th, to area students in need. The North Olmsted Community Council will host the annual homecoming celebration from Thursday through Sunday, August 24th through 27th at the North Olmsted Community Park. This year, the theme for homecoming is There's No Place Like Home. As part of the event, from 6 to 10 p.m. on Friday, August 25th, the North Olmsted Arts Commission will host a community art show and exhibition in the Big Tent. Work of local artists will be exhibited and offered for sale. From noon to 2 on Wednesday, August 23rd, our senior center will be hosting a luncheon to honor those in North Olmsted who are turning 90 or older this year. Registration begins Monday, August 21st for fall programs at our recreation center, which runs September 18th through October 28th. Those programs include Learn to Swim, Learn to Skate, and basketball. And finally, the annual tax-free weekend will be August 4th through 7th here in Ohio. Great Northern Mall and our city will be participating. And that, Mr. President, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. And before we continue on with the additional administration reports, I want to circle back to the hot stove champions. I want to say that one member of council in particular, I believe, is taking a great deal of pride in this because Councilman Scarl was president of that association for many, many years and kind of set the table for where we're at today. So I want to thank him because I actually coached in that league for 5 years while he was a great president. So moving on to Assistant Director of Law O'Malley, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. No, I do not.
Thank you. Director of Finance Coffer, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. The city's 2022 annual audit was completed and filed with the Auditor of State's office on June 27th of 2023. Since the auditor uses an independent contractor to perform our audit, the Auditor of State requires a desk review, which is a quality review, prior to public release of the city's 2022 annual comprehensive financial report, which that occurred yesterday on July 31st, 2023. We received an unqualified opinion, as we do always, and are working to get the report available on our city website. The Tax Incentive Review Council met virtually on July 19th, 2023, where the Aloft Hotel CRA, the Vitalia Senior Living CRA, and the Great Northern TIF were all approved for compliance for their 2022 and the city's 2022 reporting, and recommended for continuation for 2023. The popular annual financial report for 2022 was completed today on August 1st and was sent to the printer for citywide distribution. This recall was included in the mayor's quarterly newsletter budget and will be distributed by mid-August. The April 30th year-to-date summary and detailed financial reports were emailed to council yesterday on Monday, along with the RETA collections by type through June. And now that the major reporting burdens are behind us for 2022, I anticipate that the reconciliations for May and June will be caught up shortly so that we can provide our midterm review. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director. Moving into council committee reports, Councilwoman Williamson, Chairwoman of the Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee, do you have a report?
I do, Mr. President. Thank you. The Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee met virtually on Tuesday, June 27th at 6:56 p.m. Present were committee members Williamson, Madden, and Glassburn. All of council, the mayor, directors of law, finance, human resources, economic development, safety service, recreation, special assistant to the mayor, and our city engineer. On the agenda was new liquor permit number 4150215 for Isnig LLC, doing business as Breton Beverage, located at 29603 Lorraine Road. After review by the police department and finding no issues, a motion was made to not object to the liquor permit. The motion passed with a vote of 3-0, and the meeting concluded at 6:58 PM. Mr. President, at this time, I would like to make a motion to not object to new liquor permit number 4150215 for Isnig LLC, doing business as Breton Beverage at 29603 Lorraine Road, and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to not object to liquor permit number 4150215, known as Isnig LLC, DBA Breton Beverage, made by Councilwoman Williamson, seconded by Councilman Madden. Roll call, please.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Mr. Glassberg?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Liquor permit number 4150215, Isnig LLC, DBA Breton Beverage, is not objected to by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you.
Councilman Lippert, Chairman of the Building, Zoning, and Development Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do, Mr. President, thank you. The Building, Zone, and Development Committee met virtually on June 27th, 2023 at 6:58 PM. Present were committee members Limpert, Williamson, and Heeman. Council members Broussard, Scarl, Glassburn, Madden, and Gilchrist. The mayor, director of finance, law director, safety director, service director, HR director, economic development director, city engineer, special assistant to the mayor, and guests. On the agenda was ordinance 2023-77, an ordinance amending section 1361.03, entitled Administration of Chapter 1361 of the Building Code, City of North Olmsted, entitled Flood Damage Reduction. Mr. Upton noted that this would designate the city engineer as the floodplain administrator, and this would transfer as part of a new agreement with Chagrin Valley Engineering, and the motion passed by a vote of 3-0. Next on the agenda was PDC case 23-23619, KG Real Estate Investment Westside LLC, related to modifying their current variance related to the overhang of their building, and that motion passed to recommend all of council by a vote of 3-0. Last on the agenda was PDC case 23-23804 of KG Real Estate Investment Westside LLC, related to implementing a gated through road to prevent pullouts to Lorraine Road and permitting direct crossing over Root Road. After questions from council related to safety of the through road and specifics of the driveway, there was a request by council to evaluate some temporary signage when this solution is implemented to ensure a transition period by the residents related to the traffic flow, and the motion passed favorably to recommend by a vote of 3-0. And the meeting concluded at 7:19 PM. Mr. President, this concludes my report.
You have two motions.
Oh, I do, thank you. I would like to make a motion to recommend PDC case 23-23619 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to approve PDC number 23-23619, KG Real Estate Investments, made by Councilman Lippert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
PDC number 23-23619 is approved by a vote of 7-0.
And I would also, Mr. President, like to make a motion to recommend PDC case 23-23804 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to approve PDC number 23-23804, KG Real Estate Investments, made by Councilman Lippert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
PDC number 23-23804 is approved by a vote of 7-0. Councilwoman Heeman, Chairwoman of the Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do. Thank you, Mr. President. The Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. The meeting was called to order at 7:19 PM. Present were committee members Heeman, Scarl, and Limpert, Council President Broussard, all members of council, the mayor, all directors, along with the city engineer and the special assistant to the mayor. The committee met to discuss resolutions 2023-79, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an option and ground lease agreement with Tower Co. 2013 LLC to provide for a monopole cellular tower located at North Olmsted Park, and further authorizing the mayor to execute all contract documents and declaring an emergency. And also to discuss 2023-80, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a Fourth Amendment of an option and ground lease agreement with Tower Co. 2013 LLC to provide for an extension of the lease term of Monopole Cellular Tower located at North Olmsted Recreation Center in consideration of advanced payment of rents, and further authorizing the mayor to execute all contract documents and declaring an emergency. Resolutions 2023-79 and 2023-80 were discussed together because they involved the same subject matter: ground lease agreements for Monopole Cellular Towers located currently at the North Olmsted Recreation Center and a new location at the North Olmsted Community Park between the City of North Olmsted and Tower Co. 2013 LLC. The existing ground lease for the Monopole Cellular Tower at the North Olmsted Recreation Center will be extended to a term of equal length of the new Monopole Cellular Tower, which will be located at the North Olmsted Community Park. Each of the ground leases will be bought out for the initial sum of $400,000 at each location. The upfront buyout represents a lump sum payment on each tower against future rent payments. Currently, the tower located at the Recreation Center pays a monthly rent of $1,500, which will now be paid in advance for the term of the lease by the $400,000 upfront payment. That tower services a Dish Network provider. The city will receive an additional $800 per month if Tower Co. 2013 LLC successfully adds another cellular or other network provider to that tower. The new tower will be located at the North Olmsted Community Park and will also have its lease paid for in advance for the lump sum of $400,000. This new tower will generate a monthly rental fee of $900 per month in addition to the lump sum payment. The amount will be increased by 2% on an annual monthly basis for each of the years of the lease without an overall financial cap. Additionally, should Tower Co. 2013 LLC be successful in adding another cellular or other network provider to that tower, the city will be paid $900 monthly for that additional tenant as well. While the city enjoyed the benefit of one ground lease at the Recreation Center in the past, its only financial benefit was the sum of $1,500 per month. This new agreement structure permits the city to harness the buying power of a total of $800,000 as upfront money, which will be used to fulfill the portion of the city's master plan by completing the North Olmsted Community Park, which will involve the baseball diamonds and other improvements. The $800,000 will be combined with a $150,000 grant and another $150,000 from our city budget for the completion of that project. The city will also continue to enjoy a monthly rental fee of $900 per month, with the possibility of more revenue for more network providers added to either of the towers. Ms. Heeman made a motion to recommend to all of council resolutions 2023-79 and 2023-80, seconded by Mr. Scarl. Motion passed 3-0, and the meeting concluded at 7:34 p.m. And if I may have a moment, Mr. President?
Go ahead.
I would like to thank our current administration and her directors who work very hard to bring us, these new types of agreements and forward-thinking progress for our city. That master plan has sat for quite a long time, and now we will enjoy its completion at the park. So thank you to all of the directors and the administration. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Glassburn, Chairman of the Finance Committee, do you have a report this evening?
Thank you, Mr. President. I do. The Finance Committee met virtually on June 27th at 7:34 PM. Present were all of council, the mayor, all directors, and the assistant to the mayor. There was one item on the agenda, 2023-76, concerning stop-loss insurance. The city gets additional insurance for cases that exceed, I believe, $100,000. This legislation is annual and was recommended by the committee 3-0, and the meeting ended at 7:38. And I also would like a moment of privilege, Mr. President.
Please.
Thank you. I wanted to specifically thank Director Carney and members of his team that helped address the storms and flooding. Some parts of our city have more support for water retention and flood retention than others. Some, it's just the physics don't work to make that easy to do. The initial storm caused damage beyond just the backup in basements, and Director Carney's team, including teammates Sean, John, and Dan, have continued to work even through this past weekend through all of the damage that has occurred from that storm. So I wanted to thank them and thank the rest of council for continued support of flood retention, maintenance, and treatment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Scarl, Chairman of the Environmental Control Committee, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. Thank you. The Environmental Control Committee met virtually on June 27th, 2023 at 7:38. In attendance were committee members Scarl, Gilchrist, Madden, Council President Broussard, all of council, the mayor, directors of law, finance, HR, economic, safety, service, recreation, special assistant to the mayor, and our city engineer. On the agenda was Resolution 2023-81, a resolution authorizing the Director of Economic and Community Development to advertise for bids for the award of a contract to provide construction services for the Clegg Road Force Main Replacement Project as detailed in specifications on file, and authorizing the mayor, following approval by the Board of Control, to enter into a contract for the same with the lowest and best bidder. Our city engineer gave a presentation along with our service director. This will be a new sewer line, approximately 4,400 feet, and it's going to replace the old one down Clegg Road to the pump station. The new sewer is going to go on the east side of Clegg Road in the tree lawn. And when the sewer work is complete in early 2024, that's when Clegg Road will begin to get resurfaced. And I'm not sure of the timeline of how long the sewer work is going to take. They weren't sure on that yet. Committee recommended by a vote of 3-0 to recommend 2023-81 to all of council. And the meeting concluded at 7:45 p.m. That concludes my report, and if I could have a moment of...
By all means.
Thank you. I know it sounds like a broken record, but for our service department and our wastewater treatment people, I had numerous calls from my residents in Ward 1, and I could not thank enough for Director Carney and his people, which are our employees, from down trees to water, whatever it took. They were there, and I'm not sure they called and thanked you, but they called and asked me to thank you and all of our employees. So thank you for all the hard work that your department did. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gilchrist, Chairwoman of the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, do you have a report this evening?
I do not have a report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Madden, Chairman of the Streets and Transportation Committee, do you have a report this evening?
No report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any letters or communications to come before council at this time?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you. We will now move into audience participation. Thank you for attending tonight's council meeting. Public comment offers the opportunity for members of the public to share information and bring issues and/or concerns to the attention of city council members. It is not a debate, and public comment speakers should not expect a back-and-forth exchange. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to address council, please come to the podium, state and spell your name and address for the clerk. If you live in a city other than North Olmsted, please state the name of that city and proceed with your comments. You will have up to 5 minutes.
My name is Gary Camuso, live at 6097 Stafford Drive, and I wanted to thank Director Carney and my councilperson, Ms. Gilchrist. Last time I was up here, I asked about a tree that I would like cut down, and it was cut down this morning. So I want to thank you very much. I've got one more question to ask, and that's all. Noticing granted I'm getting older, so speeding, it's not my style anymore, but up and down the streets, cars, I believe, I can't prove, but I believe that they're traveling more than the 25-mile-an-hour speed limits in the developments. Now, just recently, my mother was placed in a nursing facility in Lakewood. And I happen to notice that Lakewood has, I don't want to say speed bumps, but they're placed on, I know on Clarence Road at least, some of these streets that go all the way through between Madison and Detroit and things like that. They have speed bumps maybe every 15 houses going down through that way. And they're not the big speed bumps, they're gradual down. But it does slow down the traffic there. I noticed that greatly. And I just wondered, the safety director is here. I just wondered if that would be in consideration with the city, especially some of these busy streets.
Good evening. Thank you. We have examined the use of speed humps, bumps, tables, and cushions, and we are working with the new engineer on establishing a policy for where and when we might install those traffic control devices. So we are looking into that. It's a significant financial investment in those pieces, so we want to be really careful. We're currently doing speed studies. In fact, earlier I got the first reports from the new speed signs that we purchased earlier in the year, and the data from those are fantastic. I get excited about that stuff, but so we'll be able to tell very specifically
How fast you're going.
on different roadways what the actual speeds are. So once we get enough data, we'll be able to start talking again about whether or not we want to go down the road of installing additional traffic control devices.
Okay, thank you very much. And another thing, since I spoke here last, I haven't seen too many trucks unloading cars in Lane Avenue. So I thank you for that, and we're going to work on people walking in the middle of the street at night where there's no lights. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Called common sense.
Councilman Glassburn?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to briefly address the gentleman's comment. The item in question in the city of Lakewood are called speed tables. It's an experimental program for Lakewood. Those are something council has become aware of and the safety department is looking at. But as the director mentioned, they are significantly more expensive than other traffic calming items. And so we're also awaiting just more information from Lakewood as to how they think it's going for them. So, thank you.
I know Chicago has it in every side street, and they've got like every 4 houses, so the traffic in Chicago only travels 10 minutes an hour on those streets, so seems to be working on there. Thank you very much.
Councilman Lippert?
And I just want to reiterate to the safety director's point of collecting the right data, so we actually, if we're going to make an investment, that it's not the squeaky wheel, but it's where we actually can have the most impact, and I think that's really important, and that's something that I'm pleased we're taking that approach going forward. So I know sometimes it's a little slower to come, but hopefully that will actually make sure that we're getting the maximum value to the residents and put them in the right place.
Any other members of the audience? Okay. Seeing no other comments from the audience, we will now move into legislation.
Legislation on third reading, ordinance 2023-52, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending section 1118.13 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Olmsted entitled Offices and Services in order to establish subsection F to limit the location of specified uses as amended.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I move to adopt ordinance 2023-52 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-52 made by Councilman Lippert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Heaton?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-52 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-53, introduced by Mayor Jones and Councilwoman Williamson, an ordinance establishing the definition of unregulated psychoactive substances in section 1115.12 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Olmsted entitled Definitions U through V for the purpose of adding definitions for uses associated with the sale and consumption of same on business premises.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I'd make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-53 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-53 made by Councilman Lippert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-53 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-54, introduced by Mayor Jones and Councilwoman Williamson, an ordinance amending section 1139.03 of the North Olmsted zoning code entitled Schedule of Uses to Conditional Permit Sale and Consumption of Unregulated Psychoactive Substances on Premises in B-1 and B-2 zoning districts.
Mr. President,
Councilman.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-54 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-54 made by Councilman Lippert, seconded by Councilwoman Williamson. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-54 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-69, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending section 902.03 entitled Annual Registration Required of Chapter 902 of the Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code of the City of North Olmsted entitled Use of Public Right-of-Way by Service Providers and Contractors Performing Work of Service Provider Facilities in order to provide for annual registration fees.
Mr. President, I move to adopt 2023-69 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-69 made by Councilman Glassburn, seconded by Councilman Lippert. Roll call, please.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-69 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-70, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending section 902.09 entitled Recovery of City Costs of Managing the Right-of-Way of Chapter 902 of the Streets, Utilities, and Public Services Code of the City of North Olmsted, entitled Use of Public Right-of-Way by Service Providers and Contractors Performing Work of Service Provider Facilities in order to provide for permit, review, and inspection fees.
Mr. President, I move to adopt 2023-70 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-70 made by Councilman Glassburn, seconded by Councilman Lippert. Roll call, please.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-70 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Resolution 2023-71, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Holland Paving and Seal Coating to provide services to the wastewater treatment plant at a cost of $5,500.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt 2023-71 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt Resolution 2023-71 made by Councilwoman Heeman and seconded by Councilman Limpert. Roll call, please.
Ms. Heeman?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Mr. Glassbern?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-71 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Legislation on second reading, ordinance 2023-76, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Human Resources to solicit proposals for excess insurance coverage for the city health care and hospitalization plans for 2024, and further authorizing the mayor, subject to approval of the Board of Control, to enter into a contract for said insurance coverage. Ordinance 2023-77, introduced by Mayor Jones, an ordinance amending Section 1361.03 entitled Administration of Chapter 1361 of the Building Code of the City of North Olmsted entitled Flood Damage Reduction in order to designate the city engineer as floodplain administrator. Resolution 2023-79, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an option ground lease agreement with Tower Co. 2013 LLC to provide for a monopole cellular tower located at North Olmsted Park, and further authorizing the mayor to execute all contract documents and declaring an emergency. Resolution 2023-80, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a fourth amendment of an option and ground lease agreement with Tower Co. 2013 LLC to provide for an extension of the lease term of monopole cellular tower located at North Olmsted Recreation Center in consideration of advancement of rents, and further authorizing the mayor to execute all contract documents and declaring an emergency. Resolution 2023-81, introduced by Mayor Jones, a resolution authorizing the Director of Economic and Community Development to advertise for bids for the award of a contract to provide construction services for the Clegg Road Force Main Replacement Project as detailed in specifications on file, and authorizing the mayor, following approval by the Board of Control, to enter into a contract for same with the lowest and best bidder. Legislation on first reading. Resolution 2023-86, a resolution ratifying and retroactively authorizing the service director to purchase from Thorworks Industries, Inc., a Crack Pro 125DA crack sealer and related equipment at a total cost of $69,638.39 pursuant to state purchasing program, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I introduce and place on first reading.
Ordinance 2023-87, an ordinance amending and restating Section 957.01 of Chapter 957, alcoholic beverages on public grounds, of the codified ordinances of the City of North Olmsted in order to permit alcoholic beverages to be sold and consumed at the Gaelic Games at Barton Bradley Park, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I introduce, place on first reading. And I'm sorry, I thought you were looking because I did something wrong.
Now I'm waiting for the council member to make a motion now.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, I was waiting for
I
this.
haven't finished my request.
That's what I was waiting.
And
So sorry.
request suspension of the rule requiring 3 readings and formal committee review.
This is what happens when you give us 30 days off. We get rusty.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman.
thank you. I would like to request suspension of the rules and 3 readings, as this is a matter of public use and enjoyment. And time is of the essence on this issue, and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings and formal committee review for ordinance 2023-87 is made by Councilwoman Heeman and seconded by Councilman Scarl. Roll call, please.
Ms. Seaman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Mr. Glassbern?
Yes.
Mr. Lippert?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
That motion passes by a vote of 7-0. If there is anyone in the audience who wishes to address council regarding ordinance 2023-87, please approach the podium now.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman?
Seeing none, I'd
There
like to
is.
make...
Oh, there is, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We should look up.
Rusty.
Hi there, my name is Jake Altman. I'm here on behalf of the Cleveland Gaelic Athletic Association to thank you for suspending the rules and getting this done for you. We're getting this done for us. We're really excited to be in North Olmsted for this event this weekend. We'll be here on Saturday and Sunday. We'd love you to come out. We've got Gaelic football and hurling being played. There'll be Irish music, probably some dancing, and there'll be some Guinness served now, thanks to you guys, so we appreciate that. And we have a group coming over, all the way over from Achill Island in County Mayo in Ireland. So if you've got relatives who are Gallaghers or Devers or Lavells, you might find them there. So thank you so much again, and we look forward to having this event in North Olmsted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How am I supposed to put all those names in the minutes?
Mr. President, so we may complete this. I'd like to make a motion to adopt 2023-87 and ask for a second.
Second.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2023-87 made by Councilwoman Heeman, seconded by Councilman Scarl. Roll call, please.
Ms. Seaman?
Yes.
Mr. Scarl?
Yes.
Ms. Gilchrist?
Yes.
Ms. Williamson?
Yes.
Mr. Glassburn?
Yes.
Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Limpert?
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-87 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ordinance 2023-88, an ordinance amending section 1126.06 entitled Development Plan Requirements, excuse me, of chapter 1126 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Olmsted entitled Development Plan Review.
Mr. President, I introduce and place on first reading.
Thank you. Moving into scheduling, I'm going to start out by scheduling a public hearing for the purpose of discussing ordinance 2023-88, and that'll take place on Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 at 7:40 p.m. And then moving into scheduling committee meetings for Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. Councilwoman Williamson for Public Safety, Health, and Welfare.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I'd like to schedule a Public Safety, Health, and Welfare Committee meeting at 6:45 to discuss 2 liquor permits.
Thank you. And then Councilman Limpert for Building, Zoning, and Development for, I believe you indicated September 12th.
That is correct, Mr. President. Yes, September 12th at a time to be determined soon to discuss ordinance 2023-88. And would ask that the Economic Development Director be there.
Okay, thank you. And then Councilman Glassburn for a finance meeting.
Yes, Mr. President, Finance Committee will meet at 6:50 to discuss 2023-86 and whoever the mayor designates.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gilchrist for Intergovernmental Relations Committee.
I would like to make that meeting for 6:55 for 5 minutes on the 8th.
Thank you. And then lastly, I'll be scheduling for that same evening a committee of the whole to discuss 2023-78, and that will begin at 7:05 p.m. Oh, Councilwoman, did I hear you say that you're going to finish up at 7 instead of 7:05?
Yes, please.
All right. So then, committee of the whole will be at 7 o'clock, not 7:05, on Tuesday, August 8th. And with the agenda being completed and there being no further business to come before council, this meeting of August 1st, 2023 is adjourned at 9:05 p.m.
Oh.
That's like my son's going to sing.
Right.